Hey, welcome to MAddOG'S After Show. You're along for the ride with the Mad Dog and Cole, the Brutale Farrell.
We're the Mexican tap water of podcasts. Enjoy at your own risk.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm.
Man, welcome to episode 94. Hard to believe, 94. That's crazy. We are going to have an incredible guest and good friend of mine here in just a few minutes. But first, we need to be sure and take time to say a special thank you to our first responders, our police officers, our medics, our fire people. Thank you so much. Huge shout out. We wouldn't be able to do the crazy stuff we do without them looking out for us, and we appreciate you. While we're appreciating people, we want to be sure and appreciate all our U.S. military personnel all around the world. Thank you so much. Thank you to our veterans. Thank you to our POWs. Thank you to all who've served, and to special respect for the families of those that gave all, the still MIA and KIA. God bless y'all. While we're being thankful, we want to be sure and tell you how especially thankful we are for our incredible partners and sponsors: Kicker Performance Audio, Kicker Marine Audio, Kicker Personal Audio. Find them online, kicker.com, on Instagram, at Kicker Audio, on Facebook, Kicker, and their YouTube channel, Kicker. And be sure and check out every other Tuesday night their live TV show, Kicker Unmasked Live, on Facebook, on YouTube, and now on X. Check it out, kicker.com. Of course, Bomber Safety Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Eyewear. Find them at bombereyewear.com. Over 40 styles of frames, an unbelievable amount of lens combinations, all the way up to full custom prescription lenses in pretty much every style. You can find them online, bombereyewear.com, or on Instagram at Bomber Eyewear. Of course, our man Cole and the Premix Podcast. Find them on Instagram at the Premix Podcast for all your desert racing photography needs. Also some MX racing photos, and of course available for MC and announcer work, now booking for 2025. Slide into his DMs on Instagram at the Premix Podcast. That's the at symbol, ThePremixPodcast. Hit him up. Of course, Kelsey Morrell Film, handling all of our video and audio edits, getting all of our video mayhem prepared and up for us to upload on YouTube at MAddOG Space Media. That's MAddOG Media. And thank you so much. Hit her up on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film for all of your video production needs. Whatever you need done, hit her up. Kelsey Morrell Film on Insta. Of course, Hey Geeks Marketing. Find her on Instagram at Hey Geeks Marketing, handling all of our logo work, our special social media work, managing our website at MAddOG'sGarage.com. You need help with social media? You need help with a website? You need help with design? Hit her up or yell, Hey Geeks. Nah, seriously, just find her online, heygeeks.com, or on Instagram at Hey Geeks Marketing. Man, I've been looking forward to this one for quite a while. Without further ado, Tommy the Bomber Bonacci, thank you, buddy, for joining us.
Oh, no problem. No, I'm glad to finally connect this. This has been talking about this for a while, and here we go. So
Yeah, I think about a year ago at Worlds, you were like, "Oh yeah, hit me up. We'll get it done." And it's it's been crazy, you know. We're episode 94 in just a little
wow.
over 2 years. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, try and crank through them and be consistent and have fun. And for all of our fans, the bomber is Bomber Eyewear, which you are very familiar with. And with that, I want to be sure and like give you a special, very, very heartfelt thank you for almost 9 years of support now. For me and being behind the podcast right from the get-go. Man, I don't know what Cole and I do without you. We appreciate you so much.
No, thank you. No, I'm glad it worked out, and I mean, you rock the white bomber frames. I mean, that's your classic, more signature white frame glass. So it's like I almost discontinued the white frames in those boogie bombs, but I had to bring them back because of you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I do love them. I wear boogies and pipes, and I wear tigers as safety glasses, and I have a pair of the blue light glasses, which are amazing, that I started using. As you know, as we get a couple more years on us, it gets harder and harder to stare at the computer screen all the time. So
No, I know. No, those are really popular. It was kind of like kind of a new additive to the lens material to help with that, and it was like, I don't see how this could help, and then once we started, sampling and trying, it's like, oh wow, you kind of just like when you put on a pair of sunglasses, you're like your eyes kind of go, ah. Same
yeah,
thing when you're looking at a computer screen, same thing. It's like, oh yeah, that is kind of nice, and so when you're, you know, I don't know if you guys more with doing the shows or just work in general on the computer. So many people are, working on computers now all day, so that's kind of been a big thing, and so um we've done lots of that with either because like with Bonner we've done lots of like specialty lenses in the early go with like
yeah,
focals, and of course with the safety thing and all, that was always like so safety bifocals with blue light or reading lenses with blue light, and it's like it's definitely not a sunglass thing, it's kind of like a working thing, and that's kind of like part of our thing. It's like work or play, that's what we're about, so like, that's kind of how I started Bomber anyways, was like, I was, professional jet ski racer and sponsor and all that stuff. So I had glasses, and
yeah,
then, but I was also when I was, racing and stuff, I was also a carpenter. And so as I moved up the ranks and in racing, I kind of like the company I was with was a guy I rode motocross with, as my boss, and so
yeah.
I kind of chose that direction because I knew he would always give me a pass to go racing, and so so that was always cool. So it was like I always knew okay, I'm you know like I would want to wear like cool glasses on the job, and so I was sponsored by some other brands back in the day, and so I start they would give me glasses, clear like yellow high contrast lenses, like for like training and stuff like that. And so after I come back from racing, I would go to the job site and wear those glasses and double as like a safety glass. I didn't know if they complied with the safety standards and all that, but I used them for that regardless. And I mean, I started doing that. uh I would get so many compliments like, oh wow, those are rad, you got any more of those, you want to sell those to me, and so on and so forth. And so I go, oh wow, we got to make some stylish safety glasses that comply
Right.
with all the safety standards. And that's kind of when the light bulb went off with that, just from like literally flying home from the races, next day going to the job site and working, getting all that kind of attention or feedback or whatever on the job site, and then going, oh wow, we should do something with that. And that's pretty much how it started. And so it's kind of been going, I mean, we're like 22 years now into this thing or something. So
Yeah.
it's like been going for a while.
Yeah, it's I had to go to the website, bombereyewear.com, by the way, folks, just to brush up on how long you've been doing this, and 97. I mean, it's not a flash in the pan, right? This is serious, and I know a lot of people over the last 9 years have gone, "Oh, I haven't heard of those." And I'm like, "Here, try mine on." And they're like, "Wow, these are really comfortable." And, hopefully we're sending them your way nonstop. But they're a great product, and I don't want to say indestructible, but they are hard to kill.
Yeah, no, that's kind of
Yeah.
no, I mean,
Exactly.
that's really like what it is, because it's like, being, kind of racer guy and being in the world of, construction, also like fabricating. I mean, with my racing days, I was more uh test rider and then racer on the weekend or whatever. So I mean, you're fabricating, you're welding, grinding, whatever. And so it's like, you always needed like safety glasses. So it kind of just kind of built the product basically around my lifestyle, I guess. And then I mean, when I came up with the first set of glasses, I was like, I'm like, these things are so lightweight. I bet you you know if I, because in jet ski, like when like our race boats and everything,
Yep.
when getting them ready to race and kind of like beat them for 20 minutes on the course, everything rattles loose and comes off. So a lot of times we would run like the foam on the inside, use like either hydro turf or
Right.
back in the day to hold the battery in and just keep vibrations and stuff. And so we foam lined everything inside the hull. And so when I had this glass, I go, they're so lightweight. I bet you if I do the same thing to these glasses, I bet you I could probably make them float. And so at the time I was sponsored by, HydroTurf. And so I called Arno over at HydroTurf. I go, hey, that foam stuff is it like okay, like, to have it against your face, your skin and all that stuff? And he's like, oh no, it's totally, safe and all that. And so he gave me all the data on that as well. And then I go, hey, well, send me over some 1 mil, some 2 mil, up to like 10 mil thick. Cause like on the jet ski stuff, the bottom of the tray might be almost like anywhere from like 12 to 20 millimeters thick, you
Right.
know. But on the sides, you might have like about, 6 or 7 mil. The sunglasses, I'm using like 2 or 3 mil on the sides and about 5 or 6 on the areas up in here. And
Yeah.
so Arno sent me a bunch of those thicknesses just to kind of test with. And so I basically, kind of took the glasses, I had like a pen and a Sharpie, made my little templates. And I had at that point, I had the sink, filling up with water, and I'm cutting out the pieces and getting the contact cement, and I'm sticking the stuff on there. I'm testing with certain thicknesses. So I cut a few, the sink's about full. I throw them in the sink and I go, and they float. And I'm just like, $1 million idea right there. So, and it was really like, it was that night. I remember it was like when I did that, I go, oh wow, that's a good idea, and I was flying out to Chicago, because it was like round 8 of the national tour or whatever. So I I was leaving up, but I had to like I had a plane flight that I was leaving at like noon. So I drove up to the morning to my parents' house, who had a pool. And I wanted to show my dad this. So I go and my dad, I wanted to, kind of go, hey, go find a patent attorney, or whatever, but I went first. I got up there, I go, hey dad, check this out. I got the $1 million idea. And we go in the backyard, and my dad's like this cool Italian guy, he's always got the cigarette in his mouth and the ash is hanging. And he's like, he comes out there, oh, what do you got? And I throw it out there, and they go out there and they're floating in the pool. And he's like, you know, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And he's all right, I'll get on it. So I, I sicked the old man on the patent attorney. I flew out to Chicago, and so anyways, when I was out there racing, it was like I don't know, it was like right before, like, we were going to like one of the motos. My phone's ringing. I see my phone. It was like my Razor flip phone, back in the
Right.
and it's my dad. He's like, hey, I got a patent attorney. We got a meeting with on when do you fly back? He's like, it's Tuesday work. Oh yeah, no, I come back on Monday, And so yeah, so I flew back from Chicago, met with that patent attorney, drew up all the claims of a utility patent, It was patent pending for about a year, and then we got, allowance and everything. And I mean, the rest is history with that. That really kind of like changed the game a little bit, because originally it was like these stylish safety glasses that were affordable, because they weren't like, $100, because the glasses I was wearing were like, $100 plus, glasses.
Right.
And so, that price point probably wasn't going to work in the safety, at least back then, wasn't going to work. And so, so I was doing the safety glasses, but now it's like, hey, I got these floating glasses. And so we tested it with the foam on there, and that totally passed all the standards as well. And then we kind of had like this two-headed monster. You had like the stylish safety glasses, and I have to say we were probably one of the cooler safety glass brands, or if not the only brand out there at that point.
And
Uh,
still are, by the way.
well, there's other guys that kind of jumped on board, and so it's like,
Yeah.
and so I mean, like Mad Dog, I mean, I really want to kind of, nail this point, because at one point I was like, okay, it's safety. Then it became floating, and we're like, oh, this floating thing's the greatest thing ever. Let's go floating. And so it's like, so we started doing all that. Of course, while I was racing still, I was like able to, when I was flying out, I mean, a lot of times we would have like poster signings at like certain, on like Friday night, before the races at certain, venues. And I'd be at that dealership, and I'm like, hey, check out this display rack, my floating glass. So every race I went to, I sold like pretty much every dealership that was around there. It was like Nielsen's, and, a couple of the big guys that were back east that, weren't around locally here in like Lake Havasu and stuff. Because I started out in Lake Havasu originally doing that, because I was like here, but still, it was like I was able to really kind of get it out there really quick. And like, I mean, I would set up a dealer with those floating glasses, and it wouldn't be like a day or two, and they'd be calling me back, hey, we need some more of those tinted ones with the chrome lenses. And and just so it really just kind of blew up that way. So it was like full, like, let's go with the floating thing. It works good with you know, with my background of being a jet ski racer and stuff. So I went that route, for a long time, and we were really working on that. And and then, we probably went 5 or 6 years, probably almost 10 years of business of, kind of doing both, still doing the safety, but kind of almost not pursuing the safety channels as much. And so after, I started, kind of getting bigger and getting other consultants and other people's, hey, let's literally look at some of the data, and what you're about. And once I started kind of going that route, we really found out like you know, we were like the king of safety glasses.
Yeah.
And all kind, like we would get like 10 times more, like if we ran an ad or anything, 10 times more, like uh just like hits, or
Right.
feedback on the safety end of it. And so we really, go, oh wow. So we kind of went safety, floating, and then kind of back to safety in both. And so it's like, so now it's kind of like, like I said, it's kind of almost like a two-headed monster, but now it's kind of both. And
Right.
so it's really been a cool kind of journey, learning all that. And so there's other brands now, and because we were so, with all the, website, and the e-commerce type of business, and all the SEO, and, all those keywords, the ANSI, Z87,
Right.
all those kinds of keywords, as you start marketing and optimizing all your listings or ads or whatever. I mean, we were in on that stuff so early, to where even if there's other brands that are working the safety stuff now, we're like ahead of them. So it's almost
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, so we kind of catapulted up with that type of being in on that stuff early. So it's really been kind of like a, a kind of toss and turn and type of journey to success. And so now we sell, God, millions of these things, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
I mean,
Worldwide.
it's crazy. I mean, I still, I work and I sell, but I don't do as much. I mean, it's like I said, the younger kids are like, are like, hey, hi, what, have 20-year-olds tell me what I should do or what we should do, and so it's like, I'm 56 now, so it's like,
Right.
I still play around and live young, but it's really like, the younger generation's really kind of taking it to the next level. So I really
Yeah.
have to give a lot of credit to some of the help from, people that I've worked with.
Well, I really love the fact that, I can get all of it in one package. Like uh, I wear obviously I wear shades pretty much all the time. I have kind of light sensitive eyes, and so, you know, I can get the uh polarized floating sunglass that's, ANSI Z87 OSHA approved safety lens. And so it's got everything covered, which is like just crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like we have a new thing, always coming up with new like ads, like something we're running this week on a new launch with our new bomb ripper glass. And so and a lot of it is, on or off the clock. These glasses could serve you well, and so
Yeah.
it's really been me. I'm a workhorse Monday through Friday, and then I'm a weekend warrior on the weekends, whether it's going the river, riding dirt bikes or racing,
Or
it's
surfing or
yeah. Because I
yeah.
mean, like I had my, like I usually surf every morning. I didn't surf this morning, and it's like I go and I don't wear them when I'm surfing, but I mean, it's like why I'm there, just like putting on my wetsuit because now it's getting colder, so I'm trying to wear a wetsuit, and it's like I see people riding by, people wearing the shades, and and then they're doing a lot of like construction, like right at the uh um in the state park of Huntington, and it's like they're remodeling a couple of the bathrooms, and you see the guys with all the PPE, reflective
Yep.
clothing, hard hats, and half of the guys are wearing bomber eyewear in there, and I
That's
come in there with a
awesome.
bomber sprinter van. They're like, "Hey, sample, sticker, whatever." I'm like, I'll get you on my way back." So I
Yeah.
literally like talk to workers, and I see, they're girls and guys, rollerblading or jogging up and down the river path, or in front, it's like the beach path where I surf every day, and it's just, I don't know, I kind of sometimes I have to pinch myself with that kind of stuff because it's like so cool, you know. So
That is really cool. And I mean, it's but necessity, what do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. And you created something that was needed before anybody knew they needed it.
yeah, no, totally.
And so
Oh,
that's really cool. And you've kind of touched on this. I want to get back to this, that you're a jet ski racer, but it's pretty humble of you because you are actually like a six-time world champion. Um, and as I under, if you, I know we've talked about this in the past, but you kind of like retired, kind of, and then came back like what, 10 years later and won three in a row or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, I call that my midlife crisis comeback tour. And yeah, no, I really that was like by freak design, I guess, because like we have our place at the river. My parents, I mean, we bought a river house back. It's like I think it's like almost 40 years now that we've had
Wow.
this place, and it's really awesome because it's right on the water, and it's on Indian land. And there's nobody around. I mean, I basically this time of the year now, especially, I like literally hang out like with the ducks, and there's just
Right.
it's like National Geographic. And but back in the day when we got this thing, and then I got like our first jet ski, it was like, we would take like milk jugs and like pressed stone bottles. We make like tracks right out in front of our river place, and that's where we would ride. And so that's like that's like really kind of like why I kind of got into the jet skiing and got you know I got pretty good at it right away, just because I had that that opportunity to ride like that, because
Yeah.
and so it was and my brother, my brothers and I and some of their friends, like back before I even had my jet skis, my older brothers would come out. We didn't even have jet skis, and my one of my brother's friends had a jet ski, and that's where I really learned on his. I remember his name was Steve Roulette, and I'd be like, hey Steve, can I ride your jet ski? He'd let me ride it and stuff. Don't do this, don't do that, or whatever. And so I would ride it, but it was kind of cool because I was young. I was like 12, 13-year-old kid. And it was like my brothers were older, and they'd start partying and drinking beer and hanging out, and Steve, oh, go ahead and ride it, man. Just here, put more gas in it. So I had before I owned a jet ski, I was already pretty good on one from riding that guy, Steve's, and so that was super fun. And then, once I got into the jet ski racing, it was like, it was kind of almost like, okay, let's go race, and my first race was in Estero Beach, which is down in Mexico, and it was a surf
Right.
race. And I'm a surfer, so I surf and I ride motocross, and so I always say like like because later like if you go back and hear some of the interviews or whatever, I was always like a good surf rider, and if it was rough and tough, then
Yeah.
I would get. If it was flat water, I was kind of like maybe not I wouldn't shine as much there, so it was like. But I remember going down to Estero Beach with some of my old motocross buddies, and it was like, and they were telling me like, oh, like, yeah, you gotta pre-jump the waves, and and they're like, it's kind of like, almost like we're talking like moto, stuff, and
Right.
I'm already like a surfer, so, and it was my first jet ski race, and I went, and I remember that was the first time I saw Jeff Jacobs, and so it was like, because I seen him in magazines or whatever, and he was out there doing aerials and stuff, and so, I mean, I started doing aerials and stuff too, kind of just off on the side later that day. But when I raced, I mean, I smoked everybody. It was just like, and it was, and I mean, I mean, I got seaweed stuck in my pump, and I pulled it out, and then I was still in the lead. I just kept going, and it was like the funnest thing. It was just, and then my friends were like, "Oh wow, you're really a natural at the surf riding stuff." So it came real quick for the surf riding for me. But then the flat water thing was always like, a challenge, because it was just kind of like, if you're not getting good starts, I didn't have the best equipment in the beginning, and so it was like it was harder, but I would come from behind or whatever if I was getting bad starts, but it's like the guys that had better bows, it's almost like impossible, to get by these guys. And then
Right.
so that it was kind of frustrating. So, but when it came to a surf race, it was like, I didn't I go, man, I'll give me the worst starting pick on the very outside. It doesn't matter. I just knew I'm gonna win this race, and it was
Right.
really fun. And it's kind of like, to this day, I mean, last year was the first year I lost, at a surf race in Huntington, because I basically I was at the Red Bull Straight Rhythm,
Oh yeah.
two-stroke straight rhythm.
Yep.
It was right here in Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
And we had a booth and stuff set up there, and those were 125, two strokes going through the whoops.
Oh, ripping by.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what the sound is. I want to see if you recognize the noise. So when it's my wife hates it. She goes crazy when that you should, oh my God, it's annoying, and all my moto friends are like, oh, that thing's cool, or whatever. So going back to the jet ski, and it was like, I was like a surf rider guy and whatever, and then flat water. And so it was really like, and then then kind of, when we start doing the jet ski talk, it's kind of like going back to construction, because I was still working. And
Right.
as I climbed up the ranks a little bit, then I was like, kind of like, next, I got I remember I got my first factory tour sponsor was Mariner Performance. So I got the call. I mean, I was literally on the job site, and I was framing, it was like a Safeway grocery store, and
Wow.
I literally with the Pettibone boom, I was loading a load of plywood up for the sheeters up on the roof the day before, and I boomed out too much, and there was too much weight, and I broke the whole front of the freaking grocery store.
Oh
And
wow.
anyways, and so I had to fix it that night and everything. Anyways, it was the next day, I'm up there and I'm still kind of fixing that stuff, and I'm doing other work, and then I get a call, and the superintendent comes out, hey Tommy, there's a a call for you in the office. So I'm going, oh, great. I'm going to get fired, and so anyways, that's where they had the little, like, like trailer in the middle of the,
Yeah.
in on the job site, right? The
Yeah.
office work and the blueprints and all the contractors meet there. So I'm going in there to get a call, and I think I'm getting fired, and oh, I'm not getting fired. I pick up the phone. It's all, hey, Tommy, this is Roger Hubbard from Mariner Performance. How would you like to go racing with us? And I'm like, yeah, and so I mean, I literally, like, I think it was 2 days later, I was getting picked up by their box van and I went on tour. So
Wow.
that's how it went. And so then I started climbing the ranks, right? So it's like,
Sure.
so I'm like when I got that job, I was working for the guy I rode motocross with. He was my boss, and I go, hey, I got to go racing, and he's like, oh, cool, like, all right, like, am I losing my job or what? No, when you come back, whatever, we'll fit you in. So it really kind of was a racing work. So I was
Right.
like playing that both sides, throughout the racing career, but then it kind of grew into where, oh wow, like then ProTech sponsored me, which is Yamaha, and so then they're like, hey, I heard you're pretty good with like like construction and working with your hands. We got this new jet ski coming in, and it doesn't handle so good. Maybe you could help with that. And I'm like, and so, I mean, I just snapped a surfboard like the week before, and I saw it was a Yamaha Wave Raider, if you remember.
Yeah.
They had the real busy front ends with all these lift strakes, and so I'm like, that's the problem, the front. So I took my skill saw. I mean, I had carpenter tools. I took my skill saw, and I just cut the whole front end off, and then I peeled the fiberglass off of the board that I broke, and kind of like kind of wedged it in there and kind of added some wood or whatever, and then kind of then skinned it and then fiberglassed it over and just remade the whole front end of this thing. And that was like our prototype plug, pretty much, all through the testing process with that Yamaha Wave Raider, which we
Wow.
eventually made a mold with the R&D department up in Lake Havasu that was just started. And then even even like, because like ProTech like competed against Riva. And so, like Tim Judge and Dustin Farthing and them, they were like kind of like, we were on the same team, but we weren't, so it was like
Right.
me, Luggage, and Tara. And and uh and so, I remember, like, all some of the things as we like started to you know, um remake and shape this front end. It was like I came up with the sponson, and and it really made that thing work good. And I remember I was back east flying, and then all the Japanese engineers came into town. So me and TJ had to fly back and meet at the Yamaha test facility in Havasu to test this thing with the Japanese engineers. And so they really like loved TJ. I mean, made his motors real fast. Their team was strong, and everything. And so, but he hated the Wave Raider, the one that they kind of developed, and it didn't have my sponson. And
Right.
Alice Baker goes, he goes like, he's all, Tommy, whatever you do, just don't give them your sponson. And I go, oh, okay. And so, anyways, we're over there and we're testing on the beach, and they're getting all frustrated. And Tim's kind of coming in there, kind of prima donna, like, all right, this thing, it's doing this. I can't win on this thing, and blah blah blah. And I'm going, oh, it's driving me crazy. And I go here. I go, I need I need a planer. I need some chisels and maybe a couple 2x4s, and I'll make this thing. I'll make something for you guys. And so we go back to the to the shop, and we didn't have a planer. We didn't have some of the things I needed, but I had a skill saw. And so I remember, and I had all like these. There's like, I think about 6 Japanese engineers, and I'm shaping this sponson with a skill saw, like by walking the blade.
Yeah.
You kind of like hold the front of the saw like this, and you kind of, and a lot of times it'll catch, and like, so I almost like cut off my foot like a few times, like almost cut off a hand, and the Japanese guys were like, oh, they were getting so excited watching me do this thing. Anyway, I shaped it to fit the side of the hull, and we put it on there, and we bolted on there, and then we go down the water, and then TJ gets on it, rides it, and he stays out on the track, and he's doing pretty good. And he comes in, he goes, I could win on this thing, you know. And, it was literally, you know, I wasn't supposed to do it under kind of team orders, but it was,
Right.
couldn't take it. I had to do it, you know, because it's just kind of guy I am, I guess, you know. And it was, I'd never forget that. That was really like, you know, one of my highlights of my racing slash construction. So I've always been a racer. I've always been construction, and then, you know, I've been kind of like, kind of like in the R&D department too, like helping develop some of the hulls and the intake cavities. A lot of the hull development over the days, you know, especially once I moved over into Sea-Doo and with Bullet and everything, I learned so much. It's really like, uh, you know, a lot of the technology, you know, like even the big Magnum pumps and all that stuff we do with Scat Track and everything, you know, that was a lot of us, you know, like the older, you know, you look like Chris Haggis with Pro Force, and you know, Chris and I were both, you know, test riders for Yamaha, you know, and so it was like, so it was really like, you know, a connection of our racing with my construction background, but then I had Bomber with it too. So
Right.
I really was able to leverage all that in a way, you know, like I said previously, like going out on tour as a racer, but then you know, it was like I would be like, oh, I go right to the, you know, we're sitting there like signing autographs at a dealer, you know, party, you know, and people are coming through, and I'm like, yeah, our display would be good right here. Like, you know, it's like we'd set it up. They were literally like right there, and then they would come by and race it. Hey, Bomber, we already sold some of those things. You know, it's like you know, so it's like it was really a cool way it kind of morphed all of those three things together. You know.
Sure. What a great morph though. I mean, dang, you know, it's it's pretty impressive. And so you've talked about motocross too, but where it like what obviously you're a motorsports guy. You know, I know you've ridden motocross, you surf, jet ski world champion. Um, and it seems to be genetic because your nephew is killing it in the Bomber Eyewear short course buggy, and doing a great job. I follow him
Yeah, he
at
just won. He just won Crandon.
Crandon.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
I
that
mean
was
he's
huge.
yeah, that's massive. I mean he's a driver. Like we go out and just drive like the K1 or the the go-karts and our pole position, whatever, the electric go-karts. And it's just like, and this is like years back, probably like, I don't know, almost 10 years ago. And I'd be like, damn, Lorenzo's on the gas on these things, you know, my little nephew. And he was a driver from day one. Like he had
Yeah,
skill, you know, you could tell. And
that's
so
awesome.
and he's gonna go pretty far with that, I would think. And and then with Dave Arnold, and announcing and stuff. And I deal with Dave a lot and stuff, and he'd always kind of give me that kind of feedback. Yeah, your nephew's killing it,
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's I don't know, I guess we're like kind of like a racing family, so.
Yeah. So where did that all start? Like what got Tommy the Bomber Bonacci into motorsports? What pulled the pin? What lit the match way back when?
Oh, it was motocross, because I was always into motocross, so one of my you know w- like Bob Hanna and Mark Barnett, and we're kind of like the two guys. And there's a little like Marty Smith, but I was more Yamaha and Suzuki guy,
Right.
um but still, like, all the old school motocross guy. Pretty, dates myself, but um so it was always that. But I remember, like, like racing, like, or not, like riding like the 80s and stuff as I was coming up. But it was even before that. I remember, I think I had a RM50, and and I don't know if it was like a race of champions. It was at Saddleback, and all the little expert 80 riders, and the mini class
Yeah.
were they're all on Yamahas. And and it was Mouse McCoy. He was out there and he just smoked everybody. And I wanted to be Mouse McCoy, and that's pretty much what lit the fire. So I mean, I was chasing that for a while, riding moto. And then I broke my leg pretty bad, and that kind of slowed me down for a little bit. But then at that point when I broke my leg, I came back, and that's when that jet ski, some of my moto friends like, hey, you should ride the jet ski. And at that time, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I rode my brother's friends, and so that's how I ended up kind of getting a jet skiing. Oh, it's I won't hurt myself as much, in the water, and so I kind of started to kind of lean more towards water sports. So it was a little bit more jet skiing and surfing for me at that point. I was still riding, but not as much, So, but I
Right.
always loved motocross. And so I always do every year I do the surfer cross, which is
Yep.
like pro motocross and pro surfers. And I'm usually in the industry division. Sometimes I get kicked into the pro division because, Jeremy Albrecht that puts on the event, there's usually more motocrossers than there are pro surfers. And like this year, like me and Fischetti, like we were both there, and like we never want to go in the pro division because it's like it's like kind of like we'll do good in the moto part of it if you get a good motocrosser, but the surfing is like kind of our strong suit for the industry division,
Right.
like so it's like, but then now you got to surf against like pro surfers. Bruce Irons was there, a couple other big names, guys that are getting like 9s and 10s, surfing.
Right.
So like Fish, him and I both did it this year. He got moved into the pro class. I'm like going, oh, I hope they don't move me, and so they did. I stayed in the industry class. I almost had a chance to win, and that's one of my trophies. I've been chasing for a long time. Like I've had podium seconds and thirds, but I've never won it. And I literally had a path to win this time because, um, I ended up 10th in moto, and then we qualified 4th in surf, and the top 9 went, and we were in 4th in surfing, and
Nice.
and so all I needed to do, and the guys that that won the because it's just like motocross, like the second moto tie break. So
Right.
surfing was the tie break the second day, and so it's like the moto guys that won got 10th in surfing, and so we were 10th. I go, we could win, and so
Right.
and it was like, and so it's like, but it helps a lot with your partner. And my partner was from Georgia, and the first time he touched a surfboard was like 8 days prior to the event. And he was a super talented motocrosser, so he's fast. That's what we did,
Right.
pretty good moto. And but, I thought we would have did better with him being as fast as it was, but man, those kids were fast this year. But anyways, it was there was a chance we almost did pretty good, but so but yeah, I've always been like kind of like just like a surfer and motocross, and jet skiing was always like kind of like my job in a sense, so I would
Right.
enjoy riding moto more and surfing more, but racing, because jet skiing was, I was like test rider. I mean, I'd be out there in the middle of February freezing my ass off, you know
Yep.
testing, changing carburetors with just clothes, and then all right, go ride that thing, bomber. You're like, and it was almost like
Yeah.
I have so much seat time on jet skis that it's like it gets old, or you get
Right.
bored with it, so I think the motocross and the surfing kind of put me in the middle with the jet ski. It was because kind of like both, if you put those
Right.
together. And I think that's why me and Fish both do pretty good at that sport, because we're kind of in surfer cross, just because it's like you got to be medium in both. You can't be like, if you're just if you're just all surf, you got to be, and you can't ride, it doesn't work. You got to be able to do good. So, so a lot of times you got to be able to be like medium. And so Fish is like same thing. So the jet skiers kind of make you, kind of good for both sports, I guess.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. And so that 80 or 50, the RM50, how old were you? Were you
Oh, I was probably at that age, I was probably about 9, 10 years old, maybe.
wow.
And so that was my first bike. It was,
Nice.
it looked like it was like Roger DeCoster's freaking RM, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it was cool, it was like their first mini, like, because Honda had their MR50s, right? If you
Yeah.
remember, the Elsinore looked just like Marty Smith's bikes.
Yep.
And so So, and then Suzuki came out with that. And that was the first year of it. So whatever year that was, I think it was 1980. I want to say like 1970 something. I don't know, 75, 74. I don't know, somewhere in that range. I don't know how to do the math on my age. I
Yeah.
was, probably about, probably about 9 or 10.
Wow. Nice. Were parents big supporters of the moto, or like
Not, not,
is your
not
dad a
really.
racer?
No, they weren't supportive of the motorcycles, and so like they were always like, no, no, those are dangerous. And then one of our friends, good friends of theirs, they bought their kids bikes, and then they were going to the desert, and that kind of all right, and then they kind of joined, had to kind
Right.
of step it up because of the neighbors. So I got to thank the McNichols for that. That's our neighbors. They bought their bikes, their kids' bikes, and then my parents followed. So at first it was like, no, 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 because it was like we were riding kids' bikes that were in the neighborhood, back
Right.
in the day. Because back in the day, back then there wasn't. I mean, we rode right out of our house, and in the oil,
Right.
we were in Brea, so the hills were right behind us, and so we would ride off into the oil fields right there. But and so but as like we went into the jet ski, and then they were supporters because of
Right.
the river house, so
Sure.
and so once I went jet ski, and then it was like support for it. I still had to buy my own jet ski. I worked, and I did things to make my own money to buy the thing. And so, but and I just went to race. Then they supported it. But the motocross was like, they were always worried about us getting hurt and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's that really is like a story of the American dream, though. I mean, you're busting ass doing construction. I mean, commercial construction, what you were doing wasn't like soft labor, you know.
oh no, no,
It's hard labor. And then you're jumping on a jet ski on the weekends and going out and, man, what a great story. I
no, it
didn't
was
know
great.
that part of the story. So
I mean, it was kind of good because like I was like, because at that point in the construction, like we would do piece jobs where we'd be, we'd roll joists or truss or and stack roofs. And
right.
so the faster you were, and I was kind of like kind of crazy, where I'd walk the plate and like people. So I'd be walking, I could fall to my death if I fall to this side because it might be a 2 or 3 story. This side I'm only going to fall. It's only 8 feet down. But I've been walking out there with the tape measure, and it kind of helps your balance and all that. So it's kind of and your kind of made your confidence for taking risk. The risk versus reward. So
Sure.
so like when you're racing, it's kind of like jet skiing especially. It's like the first in motocross too, but I think jet skiing is like when you're coming into the first turn, it's kind of like if you're like in the middle, eighth, 10th place or whatever, and you're kind of in the middle, you're not really seeing very good. So a lot of times you gotta sometimes kind of like, you know, make a couple split-second decisions whether to
Right.
lift or stay on the gas or come inside and kind of sense people coming up or up the inside of you if you're going to start coming over, and you don't want to get hit or and so I think like the construction and so I didn't love doing construction. I liked doing it, but it was like the racing was like, oh, I wanted to do that and make money. I saw
Right.
Jeff
Yeah.
Jacobs and Victor Sheldon, these guys, these guys rolling around pretty large. I going, hey, if I can get up there, then I'm willing to do the construction. So
Right.
I was willing to take some risk to not have to, keep swinging the hammer, but and it kind of and eventually it worked out for me, and I got high enough up to where, I got paid for doing it, and that was pretty cool, and then I got like I really got kind of backdoored into the development of it, which was really a godsend because I work with so many cool people that really taught me so many things like that to this day I use when I make a design of a sunglass or a display or whatever. It's just center line and start from there and just kind of like engineering things and making it
Right.
work. And so it really kind of helped me my racing stuff, that and some of the talented, people I worked with in development in the R&D, department, helped me, kind of get Bomber over the edge, in the beginning. Because
Right.
in the beginning, you don't have a lot of help, you don't have a lot of support, and so you got to do it yourself to get it done, And
Yeah.
so it really helped me a lot of it, and so that was pretty cool. So
That's
pretty great.
crazy. That's not something that I would expect one to, like construction and building and stuff like that, to benefit that way, like development of glasses, development of sunglasses and um but and you wouldn't expect someone that's that was a framer to build an effective hull
Yeah.
for a ski, so I mean, I would guess you're selling yourself a little short on all this, because you obviously had a vision and a gift, to make that stuff happen. But then the other side of it, dude, you had the drive.
Yeah, and that's what it was exciting, because it's like, I saw the feedback. It was if I didn't race, I probably wouldn't have been sponsored by and I'm not going to name the brands or nothing, but it's like I
Right.
wouldn't have been sponsored by them, and then coming back to, these job sites, and then getting that kind of attention and feedback, like, wow, those are rad, cool. Can you get more of them? Can you sell me a pair? I wouldn't have saw any of that, and then that's where the light bulb went off. It was like,
Sure.
wow. And so that's really what, you know, so I really have to, like, kind of like go back and like thank my racing background
Right.
and my construction background to put it together. It's kind of like, without the two of them, there isn't Bomber, and so,
Right.
because I would have if I wasn't because, you know, I'm just saying, like say like a Jeff Jacobs, he's like the Michael Jordan of jet ski racing, and it's like, you know, I don't think when he was racing, like, he had to go back and, unroll cords and go, and stack
Right.
roofs and do some of those things. I was showing up on the starting line. I had cuts in my hands and big slivers and stuff from the work week. And I would kind of suck the blood out of my fingers to give me the mental strength that, like, man, I got to win. I got to get up there because I don't want to keep doing this,
Right.
So I want to beat these guys more. And sometimes I would race way beyond my, you know, uh, what I had in terms of skill and say energy or training, like, like in ride in pain, like you're literally in pain, whether it was back pain or hand pain or whatever for the jet ski, just because I have to get over this hump of going back to doing that construction work, because I know, Jeff and some of those other guys, I mean, they're over there on the beach in between races, kind of like
Yeah.
somebody's feeding them grapes and fanning them, like, kind of like something like this, they're like, like this. Hey, Jeff, are you ready to go to the line yet? No, fan me a little bit more. And I'm over there, putting carburetors on and doing stuff, and
Right.
I got cuts on my hands and gas is getting on there and it's burning. That only just fuels the fire for me to push harder in the race, and so and those guys were way more talented than I ever was on a jet ski, but it's like, but I was like driven by, like, I don't want to keep doing construction, even though I like, dude, I make good money from it, but I know I can make more money racing. And then once
Right.
I got over that hump, I made way more money racing. And then, kind of, that's when the Bomber, light bulb went off, and that started to happen. It was just like, hey, my racing career is coming to an end, kind of. So so I was like, same thing. It's just like, the cuts and the burn,
Right.
competition was like, I have to do it. So I had to do it because, like, I didn't want to go back to construction, even though I'd make good money. And I'm not like saying like I couldn't have done well with it,
Right.
but I just knew there was something better, and where I am now, I mean, like I said, I pinch myself like every day. I'm so
Right.
blessed. And I mean, I get cops go by me and they're wearing my glasses, and sometimes they'll take their glasses off and be like, "Ah," and like show me their glasses. Like, oh, I almost think I'm gonna get pulled over by some, motorcycle cop. And it's like, because we always sponsor the moto rodeo, which is all the
Yep.
motorcycle officers, and they do all these skills tests. And so it's probably one of the guys that saw our booth or came by our booth or whatever, and stuff. So it's like, it's just things like that that really, like, so little things like that that really make me go, man, what a bitchin' life it's been for me. And like I said, I have my surfboards in my truck. I didn't surf today because I got so busy with so many other things. Like, I get to have the freedom to go and kind of work when I want to work, but then go and play when I want to play sometimes.
Right. And I know you still ride and you do the surfer cross and you surf almost every morning and you still ride skis. And World Finals is coming up. And I would expect that's what, starting next week, I think,
Yeah.
which is about the time we'll get this released. Um, before World Finals is over, during World Finals, this episode will release. So that should be cool. But I imagine, are you going to be set up over there
Yeah, I know. So
this
we'll have a
year?
booth set up like we do always. It's usually kind of right behind the starting gate area there. So, you'll see us. You won't be able to miss us. We could talk more there and stuff, see some of the new stuff. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna race. I've kind of like, it's always, you know, I want to race in a sense, but it's like I want to race on Saturday, and so some of the
Right.
classes that I race in or whatever I want to race in are not on. They're like, you know, earlier in the week. I'm like, and I got to work. I'm at the office. I'm working, man. I got stuff to do, So it's like I'm not gonna show up there to race on a Wednesday, because our booth doesn't really start going until like Thursday, Friday. So
Right.
and then Saturday would be a big day, but so I'm probably not going to race, but I'll be there hanging out and supporting the sport and seeing all the old friends. It's always fun to go reminisce and see all the people I haven't seen for a year basically.
Yeah, that's kind of what sand sports was for me last week, was just the opportunity to, see all my friends in the off-road industry that I only get to see, a couple of 3 times a year now.
Yeah.
So with everything else I'm doing. So yeah, I totally understand it. And uh, thank you, by the way, at Worlds last year for the hospitality and let me post up hang out in your booth with you and Jason and the family and watch some racing and watch some freestyle exhibition. I really appreciate that. That was really cool.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. My pleasure. We'll do it again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely for sure. So now you got I know you just dropped the Bomber Eyewear Bomb Rippas, right?
Yep.
And got anything else you want to tell us about, or we gonna hold that?
Well, we had those. We also had recently that there's like, shortly before the bomb ripper, we had the Jaeger bomb,
Mhm.
which is my wife's inspiration on that one. She's like, look at this one. And it was like, and and so I go, okay, it's this type, it's a five base lens, and I go, we'll have to run side shield. So I kind of took her kind of on her more designer looks that I wasn't really signing off on it. So the Jaeger bomb and the smoke bomb, but the Jaeger bomb, and that one's done really good. And so
Yeah.
I was kind of like, nah, I don't know about that one, but it actually did really good. And so I'm proud of her and I'm thankful for her seeing that, because that one really been popular. And the bomb ripper, we have some new ones coming. We have another one even. It's because the Buzz Bomb's a big popular frame of ours, and so
Yep.
we made an oversized one. We call it the Buzz Grande, and so that one's coming, and that one's pretty cool too. It's got a 3D lens, so it's like the shape of the nose bridge and everything's all in the lens. It's really trick. It's got some removable side shields, and it's a hardware-less arm, so you can interchange the temple arms if you want.
Oh,
So
cool.
so we're gonna do some printed stuff and a lot of co-brand stuff. We're looking at doing something with jet trim and some of the jet ski aftermarket and stuff. And so, so like the arms might look like the sides of the trays, of a jet ski,
Oh, sick.
yeah, so that'll be cool. We're doing some stuff with some automotive guys, a company called Project Torque, and they do a bunch of turbo exhaust stuff. So and they have like certain designs, and we're putting like kind of doing some temples and stuff for them, and others will come. We're definitely
Yeah.
going to be doing things like that. So that's going to be cool. I guess. We also have the clutch? Have you seen the new style, the clutch? Right?
Yeah, I think Jason showed me at Sand Sports.
Yeah. So the clutch has been selling for a couple years now, but we had a oversized, a larger, and we call it the clutch grande too.
Yeah.
And so that one's bigger. So we have a bigger one. So it's 9 millimeters wider for the bigger, wider fit guys. And so that's a new one. But that's probably about all I could really talk about. There's other stuff that's
Okay.
down the road, but sometimes, there's let's see, I'll show you some of this stuff. Let's see. Like this is kind of what a prototype would look like. So
Yeah.
like RP. So this would be something, but it might change. It looks kind of
Sure.
goofy now, right? But so we're doing one that's going to be more of a kid's fit, is kind of similar like this. This is like a smaller fitted one, but it's actually bigger. So we went a little smaller, and this one is going to be called the Buzz Chico
Ah,
for
very
little
cool.
kids. But that's probably at least 6 months out
Yeah,
from
yeah.
anything. So that's really cool. So
Yeah, when the kid fits come out, I have 3 grandkids now, so you can guarantee that they will all be in bombers as soon
okay,
as
cool.
either their head's big enough to fit or there's a glasses that'll fit them. So
Well, these are like the glasses you're wearing right there, those boogie
yeah.
bombs, Mad Dog. It's like those are like about 135 millimeters wide. So these things are like 127.
Oh,
So
nice.
I give
Yeah,
that's how much how much more narrow they are. So
very
yeah.
cool.
So how old are the grandkids?
Uh, 5, 4, 5.5, 4, almost 6 now, I guess.
Okay,
4 and
that'll work.
two
They'll
and a
work.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they might be a little big for the 4 and 3.5, but that's kind of like it's pretty small, so it's
yeah,
like, but people with narrow faces could wear them because
yeah.
I test them on adults even that have a
Sure.
narrow face. So but so it
That's
might be a little
exciting.
too big. So yeah, that's cool because it's like you got to be able to kind of hook up the whole family.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that's awesome. We'll you're welcome when you get ready to drop product. If you hit me up, you're more than welcome to. We do these shorts called the after show, and
Hmm.
they're usually 10 to 12, 18 minutes.
Hmm.
And hit me up, and we'll get you on one of those to announce your new product
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you're
I'll
getting
do
ready
like
to
a
launch.
promo right there on the thing and tell
Heck
you
yeah.
all the colors, and then we'll launch it right there on your show.
Oh, that'd be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun. So, um, I will see you next weekend. I will be living in Tampa next week for a few days at the International Boat Builders Expo,
Oh,
where I'll
cool,
be sharing the bomber love with the East Coast guys. So,
cool, cool.
yeah, trying to get more of those guys converted,
Yeah, yeah.
but Tommy, thank you so much. I know we're running up on time here. Um, what a great story, man. What an incredible story. I mean, I only knew part of it, and I just like just knowing what you went through to get to where you're at, and you know, um, I'm always proud to support the brand, and now I'm even, you know, more knowing like the way that you developed it and the way that you built your brand and literally like you said, I mean, cuts in hands and slivers racing on the weekend, um, to probably the most notable sunglasses brand on the water, as far as I'm concerned, anyways, for sure. Um, and the safety part is just, I see your social media, which folks, Instagram at Bomber Eyewear. Um, and you guys are at job sites helping people out. You're at job fairs, construction sites, stuff like that. Always hooking people up and getting them set up to be safe. And our listeners have heard stories about me using the safety, if you will, the safety part of the Bomber Eyewear for sure. So, I've taken rocks to the lenses. I've taken 4-inch cutoff wheels
Oh,
to the lenses. It it saved my eye. That was probably 4.5 years ago. And I was cutting some stainless and brand new cutoff wheel for no reason. It just exploded. And, it actually hit my chest so hard. It actually cut through my shirt. One piece hit me in the face and cut my face, and fair chunk hit me right in the left lens and scratched the lens. But I still have those somewhere. I ended up breaking an arm off of them at some point. I think I whacked my head underneath the car and broke the arm off of them. But I had been wearing those as safety glasses for 4 or 5 years at that point. So,
yeah.
um,
Yeah, no, that's the key right there. Like that was kind of like the whole principle of like stylish eyewear. So that was like kind of our sales pitch. Like, hey, if they're a little more stylish and they fit good and they're comfortable,
yep,
with our patented foam lining, it makes them comfortable. You can wear them all day. You'll just wear them, and
yeah,
it's like that's the key to safety glass. Because before I developed our safety glasses on that, making them just more stylish. It was kind of like safety glasses back then, like it'd be like, hey, where's the safety glasses? Oh, they're in the Sawzall case, with all the blades. You want to put them
yeah,
on. You couldn't even see out of them. They're this big, and you would put them on, and they end up on your head, and you're cutting away. And if you're cutting with that wheel, and that thing comes apart, you don't have them on, and there goes your eye, and
yeah.
you lost your eye. And so like I always like every May, every year, there's a safety week, or safety month. And so a lot of the construction companies, like they invite us onto their job sites to talk about that. And I'm always like the eyewear guy, and I talk about
Right.
story, and it's really like the thing is like the main thing is just wear them, and so
Yes.
and a lot of companies buy them. They'll buy like one style, one color for the whole crew. And we started, Jason and I started doing these things, these pop-ups right on the job site, and during safety month. And we let all the guys try them on. And one of the safety managers, he goes, hey, is it all right, instead of us giving you a PO, we'll have an open PO, which is a purchase order,
Yeah, yeah.
to make an order, let the guys pick exactly what they want. And I
Well,
go,
that's brilliant.
and I go, exactly, brilliant. That's a better word. I
Yeah.
was gonna say that was the thing. I go, that's the thing. Because what I say, like, if you like them and you try them on, and you're like, oh, these are the ones, man. You're gonna wear them, right? Because you
Yep.
like them. That's the main thing. So we started, doing this, like you said, 1997, and so it's like I have like 40 molds, and
Yeah.
it's I pretty much have every shape for every shaped head, and so it's a very subjective, product to fit sometimes, and the look and the color, and the color combination. Some people are like, Raider fans, so they want black and silver lenses, and so on and so forth. The Dallas guys want like gray with blue lenses. So just whatever, it's just, so we started doing these pop-ups right on the job site, and there'd be like backhoes in the background and cranes and stuff. And then we have like over like 300 pairs of sunglasses and safety glasses displayed on this job site. All this stuff's going on in the background, and guys go in there and all they had to do with this open PIA is go in there and go, okay, I like these one. And they tear off the hang tag, and they hand us the hang tag. And then we'd have a whole, like a little box of hang tags.
Yep.
And they go, okay, one of these. And then that was probably one of the most brilliant things we did, because it was really like a thing where they came back, a year later saying like, when you did that, and I've done it more times now because I do rooftop top completion, setups and stuff as well. But they come out and go, when you did that, it's like our safety, our eyewear injuries have basically stopped. We haven't had an eye injury since you've done that, because the guys are just
Wow.
wearing their glasses.
Sure.
And that's the whole thing. You were wearing your glasses when that wheel broke on
Yeah.
that grinder, which is spinning at like 15,000 RPMs or whatever,
About twice that.
yeah, or whatever,
It was a high speed, yeah.
yeah,
And it was just, a weird deal. I mean, I've maybe had two break in my whole life, and when that one came apart, dude, it came apart.
yeah,
And there's actually a piece stuck in the insulation in the side of the garage close to where I was working. So I'm like, whew, thank God.
yeah.
And those were the old that was an old pair of sake bombs.
Oh wow, that's an older style. That's a lot different than what you're wearing there.
Yeah. Well, I like the sakis because they have a big
Yeah, big. It's a lot of
big
coverage.
coverage,
Yeah,
but they're also comfortable that it doesn't matter. And that's something that we didn't hit on was the foam that you have developed and that you use on these. You were talking about, you're sweaty and you're running the skill saw and the glasses are falling off. These don't do that.
yeah.
You know, Tommy's magic formula, the bomber magic formula, doesn't fall off your head when you get sweaty.
Yeah, no, that's kind of that's literally in the title of our patent. It's snug fitting floating eyewear. So it's like, it's that foam lining, that it's a EVA, closed cell foam. It's basically the same stuff like that you put on traction for a jet ski or a surfboard. So it's the
Yeah,
same stuff. And so, like, on a surfboard, you don't wax your tail patch or whatever. And it's like it's the same thing. So it's basically traction for your face. So I have one friend that of mine, he's bald, and he'll put the glasses like backwards on his head like this. And he's like, and he shakes his head, and he's like, you don't, you don't even need ears, because
yeah,
and that's really like been like a selling point for us always. So it's
for
always like
sure.
the comfort, the grip, the ergonomic use, because it's you're wearing them all day, or if you're sometimes the blades kind of binding on a sawzall, you're shaking. It's like that kind of keeps them from jiggling down your face a little bit,
Yeah,
all that
yep,
kind of stuff, and all that adds up. It just makes them perform better. So
yeah,
it's not super complex patented technology, but it's very functional technology. And so, when you come up with the utility patent, that's basically, hey, why is it different? Why is it unique, right?
right,
And so a utility patent versus a design patent, it's a big difference. A design patent is just like a shape, you know.
sure,
So
yeah,
like if you go look at like Wendy's hamburger patties, they have the square patty,
right,
they got a design patent on a square hamburger. They're probably the only ones
right,
that do it, right? So no one else probably does it. But like a utility patent is you gotta have a minimum of 20 claims of why it's unique. And so it's traction, it's grip, it's flotation, it cuts off the circuits where the air would back up through the lens. So it's ventilation and all those things, that are all kind of elements that are put into the patent to make it unique and patentable.
Yeah, that's rad. And they work great for like I wear mine inside my helmet. If I'm just out skipping around in the desert in the razor, I wear them inside my helmet, and the foam helps keep the dust out of your eyes.
Yeah, no, big time, because that's what it is. The air, like in the glasses that you're wearing, let's see, like, yeah, so these are pretty simple. This is the Mega Bomb here.
Yep.
So this piece here, that's, that the air is going to come through here, and then it's going to back up through the lens right here. So it's gonna hit here, and it's going to divert out of there. So it's going to keep some of that dust from going in there. Like when I first started doing the design, I had the foam going around the whole inner frame, and that's called a spoggle now. A lot of other people do that, and I saw it to be counterproductive, because when you have the glasses like on the nose and like where it touches your face, and like if you put these glasses on, and it's like it almost seals naturally right all the
Yeah.
way here. And as it gets, your eye cups and in the human skull kind of like taper out, that's where the hole's going to be, right there is where
Right.
that chunk of foam is, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of it's like a little venturi, where it's going to divert the air a different direction, so it sends the air back. And so
It's
been pretty
super,
helpful. And a
super
lot of times
well
too, when I
thought
when I
out.
was doing, I had the foam all the way around there. I was sitting there, I put it on there, and there it was like, if you cringe your nose like this, or say if I was
Yeah.
chewing gum, I'm chewing gum, my mouth's going like this, these glasses would be going like this. You don't want it to get traction right here.
Right.
You want
Yeah.
it here. So I slowly cut the foam back, so when I was doing that whole sync thing, when I was cutting out the
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
pimples, I was like, oh, that's too much. Cut a little off. Does it still float? A little more off, okay, that's just about right. So that's kind of the evolution of getting it to why, that's like claim number 9 in our patent,
Right. That's
that
awesome.
piece right there. And there's
Yeah.
other frames where we got, the piece here. And then we have other ones where we have other patents that you don't see it as much, but it used to be a design called the time bomb. We had cavities in the temple. So the parts would go in there and the foam would stick out, and I'd have the logo in the foam. And
Oh,
you could,
wow.
and the whole concept of that was like, you could have like black inserts for in day. And if you go in the water, you could put in like orange or high visibility ones,
Oh, neat.
and then you could, if they fell off in the water, they'd be real easy to find.
Right.
But people kind of like the simple one like this the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
I like our second patent better, but it was like, because it was just more, I don't know, it served more you could easily change out like these little panels,
Right.
and change the look of the glass, and it had some cool little features on it, but it was like I said, it's simple technology that delivers a lot of function, and so
Yeah, for
it's
sure. And
work.
it's you know uh, it's an amazing story, and it's crazy, that it started with an uncomfortable pair of glasses, and now here you are, all around the world. um it's and over, if I remember right, last time I counted, over 40 frame styles, and the lens combinations are, I actually talk about this in the shout outs at the beginning and in the end of the show, with over 40 frame styles, and I don't even know how many lens styles. I mean, it's
Oh God, yeah,
color
don't get me started.
combinations and stuff. It's crazy. But
Yeah.
to come from where you were to here and be serving, really doing a good thing on top of it. You're serving a need, you're protecting people. Um, Nobody wants to lose an eye, for sure. And everybody hates losing sunglasses too. So, it's just one of those things, man.
No,
Great
and I always
job.
say that. I always say this, Mad Dog. I go, every time you lose, like if you use them in the water and they fall off and you find them, they double their value.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
so I got like one of my pairs I found so many times, it's like over $1,000 pair, you know?
Well, this pair of green has only been the green mirror bombers that I'm wearing have only been in the off my head in the lake maybe 4 or 5 times. So they're pretty valuable. But the blue
No,
mirror
but you
pair,
got the right style though. Like I'm telling you, because it's like the white frames. It's
yeah,
not you know. I have to custom make those green ones for you. You know, we don't even have that option. You know, but it's like and so but the white frame is ideal. Like if that
yeah,
thing falls off, you could see it like a sore thumb in the water, right? It sticks
yep,
out. Yeah.
absolutely.
You go put this thing in the water right next to your white one, you wouldn't even notice it was there. So
It'd be
that
harder
was
to
the whole
find. Yeah.
purpose of the second patent kind of a thing. And then I mean, I even went as far as on some of them that I'd wear at the river all the time. I'd take the ends here and I'd paint the tips here just white, and just so I
Ah,
could
yeah.
see them. And
There you
so
go.
I remember I was chasing this boat up the river with a jetivator, and I was jumping across, and the guy was spraying me. And there's a bunch of chicks on the boat and whatever. And I was like showing off, and then I'm going through the jetivator, and I come back and I go, oh, my glasses. And
Oh
so,
no.
and I don't even know where they fell off, but I just followed like the wake trail, the foam trail
Right?
back. And it literally was probably like a half a mile, if not a mile down river. I'm boom, 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 and I was cruising back, and there they are. It was like it was my white tip.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I found so that was cool. But yeah, it's really been a cool thing. It's been fun to kind of like, we get a lot of those testimonials. Hey, you guys saved my eye,
Yeah.
or our, like, 'cause we get those all the time. Like some lineman guy, he had a piece of like wire, like it spun, it like went right into his eye, and it hurt him, but it hit the right where his eyeball was, and kind of slid off of that, and then went in and cut his head. And
Wow.
and we get a lot of those, and it's just like,
Yeah.
hey man, being in the business of protecting eyeballs is like, I get, this is just awesome to be there, and like I said, like be a part of that and go, wow, I helped that guy save it by just kind of like, they were cool enough safety glasses for him to wear all
Yeah.
day. I know that
Ab-
nowadays there's a lot more of it, but back in the day that it was not like that. And so it was like, we really kind of like, that was the whole purpose. Like, let's make stylish glasses that people will want to wear all day, because just having them on will save your eyeballs,
yep.
So, you
Well,
know,
the other thing that I always highlight is they're reasonable. You've done a great job of being reasonable on them, and like you've told me probably 100 times, the blue jeans, the sunglasses, right?
yeah.
It's like everyone should have 20 pairs.
Oh man, so good that you remember that, because I was like, that one was coming out if you didn't say that, because it was like, that's what we always been. I'm always say we're like the blue jeans of eyewear. We work, go thrashing. I mean, if you're gonna, I mean, you can wear them to a wedding, I guess, if you want.
I have.
People do.
Yeah.
Mark Gomez had his whole wedding groom party wearing them, right?
Yeah.
It's like so, but yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like we're kind of like the rough and tough safety glass guy, and
Yeah.
like our new tagline is on and off the clock, or
I love it.
we love being a part of the working class, the weekend warrior class, people that are out doing it, just kind of living the same life so blessed to be able to do,
Right.
and a lot of people do it. Of course, like the sand show, whatever, there was a lot of people, wearing our stuff there. We had the booth there. I
Yep.
didn't see you there. I was there for a couple hours on Saturday, but and so like that's kind of like, I think our customers, guys that are doing that,
Yeah, for sure. For
and
sure.
a lot of them are like, I saw a couple of my guys here, firemen. Other guy was like was a police officer, construction, carpenters or contractor guys. So a lot of people like, do contracting, but also like, they have a boat, they have a, a side by side or whatever,
Right.
they're desert, river, whatever. They're playing, but they're working hard during the week, and we get to kind of be a part of their everyday life. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. And kudos to you for having the dream, pursuing it, and putting the work in to get there. And to be able to save, I mean, doing the research and standing behind a product that is so good that it really does save people's eyeballs, saves potentially people's lives. So, and certainly their lifestyle. So
Well, I
great
mean, that's the
job.
thing. You could, lose a hand or whatever. But I mean, you can't see, then it's over. It's kind of like the
Yeah.
fun is over. I mean, it's not it's going to be a lot. So it's like my dad was an insurance agent, and he always said like, the most costly injury is an eye injury, because you can't, like if you cut your hand, you go to the emergency room, you get cut, then you can kind of, hey, we'll put you on office duty or light duty. You could do this
Right.
or, but eye injury, you're done. You can't do none of that. So it's like the
Right.
most costly. Like that guy can't even work. And then if he's got to go to the emergency room, somebody has to drive him. So you lose 2 employees. So from an insurance standpoint, it's one of the most costly injuries too. And so that's why
Wow.
that guy's coming back to me going, when you did that pop-up and we let everybody personally take exactly what style and exactly what color, like I said, we have like 500 different options to choose from. And so it's like it changed it, because they're just wearing their glasses because that's the ones they picked out. And so
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I like making them and coming up with whatever's cool, kind of following the trends. I'm not like cutting edge of design or whatever. I'm kind of like, okay, what's cool out there? I think these round lenses or temple are popular. Or the squares are popular. A lot right now is like cylinder lens stuff, and that's our
mhm.
Jaeger bomb, our smoke bomb, and our bomb Ripa. Those are all cylinder. So it's one.
Right.
There's 0 up north and south, but there's 7 base lenses on the curvature in the front. Where regular lenses, if I put a mic on there, it's 7 degrees this and 7
Right.
this way. So it's compound bending. Where cylinder lenses have been really popular, and I personally don't like those. I like individual lenses for one, like not a shield lens, because I want like
Right.
what you're wearing, because
Yeah.
it's kind of like if each eye is like kind of independent in a sense. So it's like when you
Sure.
put a shield lens in there, it's like wearing a goggle. That kind of changes the optics a little bit. The cylinder lens, being that it's 0 degrees this way, north and south, that's different. So I tend to not wear them for visual optics, but a lot of people
Right.
like it because it looks good. And I think it really, me being an older guy, I guess I'm just like, I'm kind of like the older stuff, I guess, too. So I don't even know, but it's just, but I follow the trends of what's hot. And then a
Sure.
lot of times it's like, hey, if they want big flat lenses, 4 base or even 2 base lenses, which is like a big flat lens like this,
Yeah.
we have to put like a side shield on. Do I have anything like, here, I would have like this is like a removable side shield that like you could take off. So you do you have those? Oh, so that's your blue light.
Those are the blue lights.
That's
Yeah.
the blue light. Yeah, but it's this one here. This one I have a side shield that I could put on
Yep.
there, and then now it has this side penetration
Right.
impact. So it's like, so anyways, it's like
That's cool.
so I tend to like the 8 base sports wrap kind of style, like what you're wearing, but sometimes it seems like the younger demographics like the flatter, so then I got to go more side shield stuff,
Right.
and so
Right.
so I get and a lot of them we have like a removable option, so it's like we could pop them out, so it's like
Right.
we could pull that side shield out of there, and so see if I can get this thing out of here. This one's this is a test class. I can pull that one out. Oh, here, this one right here. So like this. So this like here, cool. This thing will comply. You can wear it on the job. You get
Right.
off the clock. You clock out. Chunk. Getting out of the job. Then you come and you want to go be cool. Then you got kind of that look.
Pop the side shield out and away
Yeah.
you go.
So that goes
Yeah.
into the bottom here, and then over.
Nice.
So So that was one of our concepts for that, kind of like, to make it to be able to run the flatter lenses.
Yeah,
And so,
that's
um,
awesome.
and I thought I would take the, and this is what I'm wearing now. And it's
Yeah,
like, I leave the side shields in there for at the river. You're sitting there in the sun shining this way. It's like,
right.
it's more coverage, man. I leave
Yeah,
it, the more the better for me. So I leave it on.
I got you. So that's awesome. What a great story, Tommy. Living the American dream, and the American dream really when it comes to, slinging a hammer to owning a company and developing a product that people need and people use um, all the time. And like you said, how cool it is to see people wearing them, whether it's a motorcycle cop or a lifeguard or a guy in a construction site. So rad. Um, do you have any special shout outs, any sponsors, any special thank yous?
Um, I like to just thank everybody, here, my wife, of course, she does a lot of it. I mean, she kind of keeps me in line, and, because I'm like a big kid over here still too,
Right.
you make me off as this big entrepreneur guy and work. I work hard, but a lot of times she keeps me in line, and, keeps all the ducks in order and whatnot. And, Darlene, the crew, everybody that works here. I'm not going to name them all.
Yeah.
Jason out there in the field, my brother Larry, my
Hmm.
nephew Lorenzo for winning Crandon, and all that they do, because Larry works for us too. He sells the glasses out
Yep.
there, and so he's like our biggest sales guy. And the I'm just gonna say all of Hawaii, because like there's probably about 1,000 Hawaiians that is like our family too, and
Yep.
like during the once the floating thing started, we kind of thought like, hey, let's get the Hawaiians, like give them a seal of approval to um like as a waterman, like, hey, are these cool or not, and they loved it, and so they've been a big part of it. There's so many names, Fuzzy was one of them. It's Wally, Samote,
Wally.
uh
I
uh
actually met Wally in person.
oh, you did?
He came and found me last year at the kicker booth at SEMA.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because he goes to SEMA every year, because he's there
yeah,
in the automotive business.
it was super rad because we're always like, we post each other's stuff. We're always commenting, liking each other's stuff. And so actually getting, to meet a bomber brother in person that's, from whole nother, like, across the ocean for
Yeah.
me is pretty rad.
Oh no, Wally's we have like a certain series. We have one's called like the Mana series, where it's got
Yeah,
which you're wearing.
I'm wearing,
And
yes.
so that's the Mana series, which means like it's like supernatural strength in Hawaiian. And then we have another one called the Aloha series. Well, Wally was a big part of that. Hey, we have the Hawaiian flag, and then the islands, and
Yep.
so he was like instrumental in helping us develop that. And like he lives and breathes Aloha. I mean, he sells our glasses. He's a big salesman for us as well, and ambassador and promoter online, with Instagram, and just he really kind of like Aloha just pours out of his pores.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he when you met him in SEMA, he's probably probably the nicest guy ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was really cool. So, all right. Well, if you have any more thank yous, any more shout outs, we're going to let you
No,
get
that's
out of
probably it.
here.
I mean, how long have we been going here? I mean, shoot.
Hour and a half. I don't have an exact timer, but longer than I planned on holding you up, that's for sure.
No,
But
I know, because you said about, it's almost 5 o'clock.
yeah.
So um yeah,
Yeah,
so
usually about an hour. So
yeah, no, so we're about an hour and a half. So I'm
yeah.
like, it was three. I got the text. I was running around, getting some stuff in order. We got the fire marshal coming through
Oh,
to inspect our building. So I was
yep,
like getting some fire extinguishers in the right places and stuff like that.
sure.
And and then I'm like, oh, and I go, I know it's close to this, and then I heard back, 'cause I have an earpiece in, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I better go back. And so I like signed on. And that was like
Nice.
3:22 at that time. So yeah, an hour and a half at least.
Yeah. Tommy, thank you so much. I appreciate you being on. And dude, thank you for building a great product and all your support of myself, Cole, my kicker crew, and of course, Mad Dog's after show, man. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful. Thank you
Yeah,
so
no,
much.
thank you. Thank you. It's just, and we just continue to ride on. I mean, it's just, that's the
Yes,
best
sir.
part. It's fun because you get to meet so many cool people like you and others, like, and then like, I just mention names, oh, I met him. And it's like,
Yeah.
you have these networks, right? And so it's like, I had like my contractor friends, my racing friends, my moto friends, my, and then, the business guys, the certain brands, there's other announcers, Dave Arnold's and Cameron and Dan and some of these other announcers, that you
Jim
meet.
Beaver.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like there's just so many people like you just
We
meet. It's like, oh,
we
it's
call
been a
Jim
cool ride.
here on the podcast, we call Jim the Podfather.
Jim Beaver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great friend. He's been a great advisor for us on the podcast. Big help. Um, and I do some stuff with him a lot. So
We're supposed to go do some video or and stuff up there in Parker, right? That's where
yeah,
yeah, and we've been talking about doing it. So we gotta and put some kind of video together or whatever. We've been talking about it. So hopefully that'll happen.
awesome. Well, let me know when you're out there, and
Yeah.
I will see you at World Finals.
Yeah, no, we're leaving on, I think it's the 6th or something like that. It'd be like a
Nice.
Wednesday.
Cool.
So it's the Wednesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday. So
Nice. Right on. Tommy, thank you again. Bomber, you are the man. Thanks for keeping me safe. Thanks
Mhm.
for keeping me solar safe
Yeah,
and looking cool at the same time. I really appreciate that.
no problem. All right, dog. We'll see you later.
See you later. Keep
All right,
going.
man. All right, see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, what a story. Holy cow. Um,
The twists and the turns, literally.
literally. I mean, I had no idea he helped develop hulls for Yamaha and race boat. They call them race boats for jet ski hulls. Um, dude, and like such a great guy. We're
Oh
just
yeah.
so grateful for him. Uh, I know we're running long, folks, so hit him up over at bombereyewear.com or on Instagram at bombereyewear. When you are on their website and you pick out the glasses that you want, you add your 1 to 100 pairs to your cart. Be sure and use the code MADDOG20, MADDOG20. Let Tommy and his gang know that Mad Dog sent you. Of course, Kicker Performance Audio, Kicker Marine Audio, Kicker Personal Audio. All your 12-volt personal audio needs, Kicker's got you covered. Kicker.com, on Instagram at Kicker Audio, on Facebook at Kicker. Every other Tuesday night live, Kicker Unmasked Live on Facebook and YouTube. The Premix Podcast, everything you need to see photo wise from desert racing. Hit up Cole over at the Premix Podcast. Also available for your MC and announcer needs. That's the @ symbol ThePremixPodcast on Instagram. Slide into his DMs, drop him a hey yo. Of course, Kelsey Morale Film on Instagram at Kelsey Morel Film for all your video production, from pre-production, post-production, whether you need a commercial or just some awesome still photos. Hit her up on Instagram at Kelsey Morel Film. You need website help? You need social media help? Yell, hey Keeks. or find her on the webs, heykeeks.com, or on Instagram at heykeeksmarketing. We need to wrap this one up. Cole, do the speech.
Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite streaming platform.
Dude, so beautiful.
Thanks,
Thank you,
dude.
Cole. I appreciate everything you do.
Appreciate you.
With that, God bless our troops. God bless our first responders. God bless America. God bless our podcast. Mad Dog out.